family. This is Steve Copeland, and I was getting ready to sing the same old song. I'm gonna try not to be on here too long. I say it all the time. I'm gonna try not to be on here too long, and then I'll come on and I'll stay forever. But I want to share some things, right? Um, that's kind of weighing heavy on me. Um, Now, I don't live a destructive lifestyle like I used to. I come from the streets, you know, drinking at 13, snorting at 14, shooting dope and cane between 14 and 15. And my passion, since God delivered me, is to go back and help others. Now, mind you, I know I can't help everybody. Now, as a Christian man, and I understand the commandment that God gave us as to be fishers of men. That's what I'm talking about. To go back out and help his most vulnerable people. Now, I'm only saying this right because a lot of y'all know that March the 12th, I got arrested. Now, Strengthen the Community is my LLC. The Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope is the transitional program where I do temporary to permanent housing. And most of the people that I work with are homeless and less fortunate people. So some of them have little mental issues, or they sign, well, they know when they come, before they come in, they have to sign up for the mental health program. The goal is to get them the proper help that they need to function as normal as possible. Well, I had some issues with the Eastern District Police Department when I would call them out. Now, I'm only calling because if I'm dealing with a client, I don't want it to get to the point where, we might start fighting and all that type of stuff. I don't want that. Well, anyway, when I would call these officers out, they will go and talk to the client, and I will explain to them everything that I'm doing. They would walk over to the client, the ones that I was dealing with, that was off of their medication. They would go over to the clients, listen to the client, then all of a sudden they come back and attack me. Every time I would call the police, and I only called them because of the help that I needed with a client. They never gave my client the proper help that they needed, and they never gave it to me. So on March the 12th, I called them. It was like 1 in the morning to find out, did they find the emergency petition to take my client to John Hopkins to get him evaluated. This was the young man. One police jumped in his car. I thought he was going around to the station to either get the emergency petition and come back. The other guy who wrote up the police report, who was mad at me because I scrimped on him on several occasions. And not just that I scrimped on him, I reported him to a supervisor because he gave another one of my clients permission to knock down my back door to get into the house, which he did not have to do that. My goal is not to leave you out on no goddamn streets, but this was one of the clients that I needed to go to John Hopkins to get evaluated to because he was off his meds. But this one officer played him to play me. So anyway, when I called them on the 12th, March the 12th, it was like 1 in the morning, about the young man. I went back in the house because they came in, left back out. I went back in the house and I was talking to him. He reached out his door and hit me in my face, bust my nose and everything, right? Do y'all know? Now, I went back outside to get the police. He waited. I told him, I said, man, now mind you, I'm bleeding like a pig. And the officer looking at me. And he just sat there. He sat there. And then he decided, like, let me go check this out. So he goes in the house, come back out, and this is what he gonna tell me. Mind you, I'm bleeding like a pig. He gonna say, well, there's nothing I can do because I didn't see him do that with my own eyes. I know something happened, but I didn't see it with my own eyes. I said, man, go ahead. So he called the ambulance to evaluate me because he didn't know if my nose was broken or something like that, right? Do y'all know he wrote the police report of the young man assaulting me? Now, the young man, two guys came up the house. The young man knew who they was. They asked me what house was he in. I said, right here. And it was just to talk to him from my understanding. But then his father swung on him. I'm old school. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go around beating you up and all that type of stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But we deal with things in a different way, but I didn't expect that. So I had a little teeny, like, sludge ham in my hand because I was working in the house next door, and I hit the floor with it. Bam! Cut that mess out. Because that's not why I asked for somebody to come and talk with him. Well, anyway, they used that against me to say that I assaulted him. When I read the police report, and I can tell you personally, I never put my hands on him. And in the police report, he never stated that I put my hands on him. But because the police, now this is the sad part, because they don't know who the other two people is. And if you talk with me, I could have, I'm not going to turn them in, but I could have explained to you what happened. But you didn't. Now, I'm charged with, I suppose they took his phone. I suppose they stole his watch. Why am I going to take something from somebody that I'm basically taking care of? You didn't know that, did you? His aunt asked me to help him. What do I look like hurting somebody and bring division amongst the family? You ain't know that. But you sat up there, you charged me with home invasion on my own rental property. I'm the one that signed the lease for them properties. But you gonna charge me with home invasion, burglary, armed robbery, first degree assault, and about 15 more charges. Well, altogether it's 15. Then the detective that called herself evaluating me gets mad with me because she asks a question, and I'm the type, I talk, I explain stuff. So she like, well, that's all you gotta do is say yes or no. I said, no, I won't. You ask me a question, I'm explaining it. She was the one that created another charge and had me indicted. And guess what? She tried to say that she charged me with second degree assault, burglary, and harassment on my female client. Now, mind you, her brother asked me, he in one house, she's in another house, to help his sister and her daughter. I don't fight on clients. But anyway, the police said second degree assault, burglary, and harassment, and I couldn't make my arraignment because she took it and added 2 more things on there. So it's 17 charges now and had me indicted. So I didn't make my April 11th arraignment. They was following me. They was looking at my steps, prison-wise, record-wise. So they did what they did to keep me hidden. And soon I'm gonna say your name. Because not only that, check this out. You made a fake police report, and be honest, the courts already know. The first judge said, wait a minute, something ain't right with this. The police report and the charges do not go together. When I got out on bail, the 14th of March, 25,000 bond secured bond and home detention. I went to leave out on the 14th. They locked me back up because this police took the police report that he wrote for me being assaulted and went and had me locked up. He used it to charge me with 4th degree burglary on my own place. And the judge gave him a warrant, so they locked me back up. See, the reason why I'm saying this, because I'm looking at how our polices, the corrupt ones, can do certain things to innocent people. So you showed me how much power you got, white boy. Now, and the sad part about it, you wrote this. The courts don't know whether it's fake or phony. They don't know. And then the prosecutor, they can only go off what you give them. And the prosecutor don't really know Steve Copeland or Ivan Bates. I ain't gonna say very, very, very well, but the stuff that he was doing around in the community when he first ran for state's attorney. You should have read up on me a little bit. Should have read up on me. Because the organization that I'm with, Communities United, we fight for the democracy of black people here in Baltimore City. I call that the baby branch of the NAACP. We fight for their equal rights, their civil rights, and their constitutional rights. I'm one of the people that not with Communities United, but fought to get that plane here over Baltimore City to reduce the homicide rate amongst our black men. I spoke out about our school superintendent. She's a very educated woman. She got children of her own. So you know what it takes to educate our children, the proper curriculums. If you don't properly educate our children, what's happening, you kind of setting them up to be destructive. But see, now I understand this too. Y'all want to turn around. Well, they not being, their parents not treating them at home, you know, how to be respectful when they out and stuff like that. And y'all know, you can teach them morals and values and principles, but a lot of times when our children are out in the streets, they're going to act like their friends. They're going to act like their friends just to be part of. And y'all know that. I hate the fact that our children acting the way they are. Then I realized too, right? A lot of the programs and the centers that they had for our children, a lot of them are closed down. So now you wondering why they act the way they act. But this is the type of stuff I fight for, us to create programs, interventions, where we can work with the youth, where we can work with the returning citizens. But then I realized in the process of what I do, y'all don't want it to stop. Certain things y'all just don't know. No. And because I speak out on certain things, I'm more of a troublemaker than this person that's actually trying to help. I'm home on home detention. And this is my second time being home on home detention because they know I'm not a big threat like that. They know. I'm 61 years old. I'm disabled. Look at this. I'm disabled. I can't even make a real fist to fight nobody. Prosecutor. Wait a minute. I want you to see this. I was born disabled. I done foster care. I done mentored young men. I grew up without a father, 62 years old. So in some of our young men's lives, I just wanted to try to fill that gap. I could never take the place of their father, but just being a positive role model in their life. I used to have a commitment over the Y building back in the 90s. I used to go in there every Friday, 7 o'clock. Carry NA meetings in there. If I couldn't get somebody to come and speak, I would go in there myself, right? And just talk with the guys and mingle with the guys. And I'm telling you, some of them, you know, one guy told me when he seen me, he said, man, thank you for, coming into the Wide building. I remember when you used to come in there. He told me he got 7 years clean. Now, if he's still clean, he got well over 20. But y'all want to make me out because I'm this big mouth. And it's not that I'm a big mouth. I like to say certain things about myself as far as this bald head, big mouth black dude. I'm a loving, kind, caring, compassionate person. I know my behavior to some of y'all was unprofessional. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But what I have been doing, because now, you take a look at yourself, and I'm like, Lord, please help me to be able to come a little bit more professional. I just don't want to lose me in the sight of what's going on. Now, in the process of me going to prison, they don't have the proper help over there or resources in the hospital. So most of my time was spent in the MTC prison hospital because they didn't help me the way I was asking before it went there. I had my right foot operated on twice. I just had my feet operated on again, the same right foot where I had my big toe amputated. So I only had 3 toes on that right foot. I'm a diabetic. I couldn't eat the food that they was giving us in the prison because my sugar would run me close to 500. So it got to the point I had to stop eating the food. But now, mind you, I was neglected. I'm dealing with these African people. They yelling, I'm yelling, and I'm saying, please help me, because I'm scared that this fluid in my leg is going to go down to the toe, the area where the toe was missing, one of my toes, which got amputated 6 years ago. I happened to look down one day, and the fluid was pushing that skin where it looked like I was growing another toe. And then at the bottom, it started leaking. I kept wondering why this stuff was in my shoe. But I didn't know that the fluid was leaking out from the bottom. Well, anyway, it got infected. They had to rush me out. So I went to the University of Maryland. They cut some of the rest of that bone out right there. I was healing pretty well because of the way they was wrapping my feet down near my pinky toe. It started getting infected down there because the moisture and all of that. So anyway, I was starting to put that foot ointment on it. The doctor himself took some of that ointment and put it on that wound from me being operated on. That was on a Friday. By that Monday morning, I was back in the hospital. 911 again. And they had to operate back on that area again, cutting the rest of that bone out. And see, to me, a lot of this started because of this police officer decided he wanted to create some stuff. I guess he said to himself, I'm going to fix you. I'm going to show you who I am, you and that detective. Then y'all turned around, raided my niece's house while I was in prison. This is not on the police report, but it goes with that. Y'all raided my niece's house talking about y'all was looking for some Ray-Ban glasses. I think a $2,500 watch, and some checkbooks. This supposed to be on the police report for y'all raiding the house. Now, I'm not saying it's not impossible, but what person that really they homeless and you got a $2,500 watch, you're not going to pay, you're not going to pawn this to help you get food, to help you find somewhere to sleep at night. We talking about homeless people. And what he gonna write a check for? If you're not working, then that means he got a bank account. Y'all ain't realize what y'all did you? Tore my room up. My niece said, and I got a 60-inch TV in there, she said they turned the TV over and everything. And I'm just saying, y'all hated me. And I believe the detective had to set that up for them to do that. Y'all hated me, or you wanted to prove a point to me. Y'all was trying to prove a point to me? But do you understand, as a 62-year-old man, listen to what I just said, 62-year-old man, you are a human being just like me. Just so happen your profession is being a police officer, and the goal is to protect and serve. Now tell me where y'all actually practice that. To protect and serve on what? The detective was white.